So LevelingArise, I mean look, they're handing out SSRs left, right and center. That's cool and all, right? Especially with the recent SSRs that we have gotten. It's actually weird to think about because if you really look at all the characters that they've released except Maylin, everyone is DPS. Choi, Beast, Amamiya, Sohyun, Chai, Alicia, it's all DPS. It's like 90% DPS, 10% something else. So it kind of makes sense on why going forward with the next two SSRs, it's going to be non-attacking, right? Support, tank, cool. Now, with all of this, and the reason why I mentioned all of this, and by the way, with what I'm saying right now and with what we're talking about right now, it's going to make sense to why I'm bringing it up in the next video that I upload. So, SRs, fine and dandy, we're going about trying to get them, and it is what it is. I know some people are still struggling with the whole rate up tickets, with the game kind of not being as generous, etc. But with them pumping out SSRs, you know, they're doing it in a nice way to where the characters themselves are really good, and for their attribute that they're being placed in, it is doing well. Now, with all of that, one thing which surprises me that they haven't done yet, which by the way, just to clarify, I thought they were going to push more for the lower rarity when Sohyun dropped, but that's not seemed to be the case because SRs, we haven't had a new SR ever. No new SR through the banners, no new SR from events or gifting it to us, nothing, which is weird. Again, last game that I played being Black Clover Mobile, I think from like the very beginning, the developers not only catered to the higher rarity, but they also made it so that they were also giving us lower rarity characters, meaning the SR characters. And I say this is because obviously SRs is just a nice way and another way where people can capitalize on gaining characters that are in the lower rarity that can help them with content, so that way it's not heavily relying on SSRs, right? Like, I mean, you could technically say that, oh, I've got Beast, who is an amazing SSR, but I don't have the required dupes for him. Instead, I will resort to using Kang, of course. I mean, he kind of does the job, hits a little bit more harder. I mean, with lower rarity SR characters, you might be lucky enough to earn more dupes into them, so that way you can cater to maxing them out, benefiting from gaining their passive skills. Who knows, they might do a little bit more damage. I mean, again, when it came to that one raid that we had, I catered more to my SR than I did with Beast, which is weird. But for whatever reason, when it came to the outcome, I was getting more out of it through the SR DPS character. Now, with all that being said, I mean, there are certain things that they could do. I mean, technically speaking, with the way they're going about handling SSRs by giving us the full package for each attribute, they could technically do the same. And again, I was very surprised on why, because I thought Sohyun was going to be an SR, and I thought she was going to be piled in with an SSR. So I thought she was going to originally be coming in as an SR. So when I originally made that point, I was like, right, we're finally making progression to where SRs are now going to be coming into the building. Now, Mass, a long time ago, I want to say, I think this was like back in March, I want to say, they gave us the full list of characters, as you guys can see, on what's more to come and what more could be added for solo level. Obviously, Hansemi is going to be releasing in a couple of days' time. Go is the Arise Festival. Go to Iruji over here. He is the Arise Festival in December. So as you guys can see, there are a plethora of characters that one they can implement, and this is excluding the original characters, by the way. So yeah, I mean, there's still a lot to be done. There's still a lot of characters to be introduced. We've still got a long way for this game. So adding in SRs, it's doable. It's doable, especially now that we know that original characters are a thing. That just makes the player base for solo LevelingArise massive. So yeah, we can go about getting some SRs into the equation, and fully catering and supporting the overall player base, especially to those that do kind of rely on SRs, to be fair. So that being said, a while back, I'll say again, this was back during the soft launch. I think this was either leading up to the soft launch, or no, this was during the soft launch. My bad. This was during the soft launch. As you guys can see, this was what was kind of found in the files. We know that Go is an SSR because he's going to be releasing in what, 2 weeks time. Sangil Hwan, not sure when we're going to be getting him. Gina, we know she's in the works, not sure when she's going to be releasing, so that will be interesting. I don't know if she's going to be in she better be in SSR, that's all I'm trying to say, although she is, I believe, an A rank hunter. But as you guys can see, we've got the top line and they are saying SRs, so it seems that the developers do have in mind to say that, right, SRs are going to be coming into the game, but the question is when and how often. That's what I'm I'm hoping this isn't scrapped. I'm hoping they haven't just gone completely back on their word and been like, you know what, let's kind of put a hold on the SSR side of things. So like with the characters right here, so George Huan, who is an SR, this was one of the characters, oh god, during the double dungeon, unfortunately did find his demise in there. If you guys have seen Solo Leveling, the anime, then, or if you've read the manga, of course, then you would know. But the key thing about this character was, I think he was more for the speed side of things, so a speedy character. I wouldn't mind a speed DPS. I think that would be pretty cool to have, right? I don't think we've really... Do we have a speed... I mean, well, we've got Beast, who kind of gives himself that attack speed up. So, yeah, I think to have a speed attacking character, I think that would be... I mean, that's the only role that I can really think of, right? And a speed attacker. I think that would be pretty solid. And again... we do need some DPS for the SR, so I mean that would fit in quite nicely. So that could have been added in the early stages, to be fair. We'll skip and then we'll head over to the last character, because I do want to save Ki-hun till last. When it comes to Kang Jung-ho, I believe also in... No, you weren't in the double dungeon. No. So he found his demise witnessing the murder that Kang Tashik killed the prisoners, and so he kind of eliminated... Yeah, sad story. But I believe the role of this character, more of a defensive role, so tankish. So what I mean, is there anything that could do with some... I mean, to be fair... Okay, I'm looking at the tank side of things for SRs, and we are stacked, stacked to the brim. But if anything, I'd probably throw him in. Oh well, then again, nope. Fire attribute. There we go. Could have had a nice little fire attribute tank right there. Son Ki-hun, of course. Even though it states SRs, and because this was a long time ago, I feel like he might be coming in as an SSR. I believe, if I can remember correctly, leader of Strike Team B. I think his role is defense. I think he's a tankish player, if I can remember correctly. So. But again, with this character, the reason why I left it till last, because I think they will apply him into the SSR mark. I mean, well, if they added Lee Bora in the SSR, then I assume, and Soo-hyun, of course, then I assume that they'll throw him into the SSR pool of characters, of course. But their original look was to throw him into the SR side of things, and again, I mean, they can throw it for the wins. Fire needs all the help they can get, so they can always go with that. Light and water are pretty solid. They can throw it into dark, so they've got three attributes that kind of opens up on where they can get some tanks going in, of course. Now I get it, by releasing SR characters it might be a little bit more costly, but I mean, here's the thing, only set SR characters do get worked on, the ones that I'm clicking. So that's fine. I mean, again, we understand that when it comes to SRs, we have to, well, especially to those that are limited resources, you got to kind of have to pick and choose on who to work on if you are kind of needing further more support, depending on if you don't have the SSRs, of course. And even with that, there are certain SRs that you don't have to even work on, and in certain situations and scenarios in game mode, you can still effectively use these characters whilst they're being, like, still level 1, realistically, right? So I feel like having SRs and just giving us that option of, I don't know, having a firebreaker or something, or having a dark support, of course, I think that just goes the extra mile on helping everyone out in having a plan B for the SRs. But yeah, I'm surprised on why no new SRs has released since, even though they had stuff in the works beforehand. So yeah, with that being said, developers, if you guys do want to talk about on whether or not if you have planned for future SRs, that'll be interesting to know. If not, and it is what it is, we'll have to make do with the remaining SRs we have. But I'm hoping in the next developer notes or something, it gets touched up on, or if someone talks about it. I'm just curious to know whether or not if they will do anything with SRs.